Greg Shamuta Doucette. Now, usually I would yell, but my wife is in the house today. She got some vacation time, spring break. I don't want to be too loud. She running like, what the fuck? I'm yelling for. So we ain't doing all that. I know a lot of you guys like it when I go, Greg Doucette, and all that shit, but we ain't doing it today. Greg know who I am. Your biggest mosquito is here, Greg. Greg, I met one of your guys that watches your content. I ain't gonna call him a fan, in the gym last week. Before I came down with the shits, right? I mean, the bubble guts, the shits. I had stuff virus, neurovirus. That's why I've been so quiet last few fucking days. But the guy asked me how do I feel about your content, because he tried some of your training styles and he was getting burnt out a lot. And the reason why he started talking to me, he didn't even know who I was. The reason why he started talking to me because he noticed when I train, the way I train is very effective with the amount of reps that I was doing and the amount of time that I was spending versus trying to go harder than last time all the fucking time. Even though, as late, you've been dialing that back a little bit. But I watched some of your last videos, the Will Tennyson and the Jeff Nippard video. More on that in a second. Okay, more on that in a second. But I just got to know, what's your definition of a good workout? Because if you go to the gym and you train, you are breaking down muscle tissue. You are stimulating the sympathetic nervous system, the nervous system that's responsible for your fight-flight response, or freeze response. Okay? Volume really stimulates that nervous system, as well as the weight itself, the amount of resistance. So the more strength training you do, like deadlifting, squatting, and bench pressing, right, really taxes the nervous system when you're training very heavy. But if you trade that to do a lot of volume, guess what happens? You're going to fry your nervous system with volume. Volume and heavy weights is a nervous system killer. And so it takes longer to recover from stuff like that. So when you say you should take most of your sets, not all of them, and I agree, but most of your sets, as close, if not to failure as possible, is true to some extent. You also want to have at least a one top heavy set, because you want to also put the muscle in an uncomfortable situation to make you have a better response of intensity to move the fucking weight. I don't care if it's a weighing machine. I don't care if it's free weights, whatever. You need a heavy set. So I warm all the way up to one top heavy set, maybe 2 sets of a heavy set. Then I cut the weight down by 60 pounds or so, no matter what I'm doing, to put it in a moderate weight range. And I do 2 sets, as many reps as possible, a lot of times, so 2 failure. Then I do 1 kill set. One just as many reps as possible. I lower the weight down to a weight that's not too light, but light enough that I know I can get close to 15 or 20, maybe 25 reps and just kill the muscle. I'm done. That muscle's fried. I try to hit it from a different angle with different weights, but I ain't got to go that heavy because I done already killed the muscle. When you are a natural, you need to rest. You have to take time off. Unless you're training one body part. If you're training one body part per training session, you can get away with that up to a certain point as well. Because if you beat that muscle up too much in one setting, 7 days to the next time you hit it might not be enough recovery time, depending on how hard you hit it, because muscle recover faster than ligaments and tendons. That's why deloading is important. And sometimes you need deload for up to a month. After so many months of training, take a month off, maybe even 8 weeks off. Just stay active. Well, somebody will say, well, you can start losing muscle for 8 weeks. That's not necessarily true. If you've been training up to a point and you finally take time out to stop because the body just needs that time, ligaments and tendon need the time. Guess what? If you're eating good, doing moderate activity, staying active, doing stuff like that, not so much being in the gym, guess what happens to the body? It's going to respond. If you just do body weight for those fucking 8 weeks, twice a week, just some body weight exercises, just body weight, those muscles are going to get a workout. They're not going to shrivel the fuck up. Now, I think after 2 months, if you need to take a deload that long, because you just burnt out, after about 2 months, you will start to notice some diminishing gains. But the body takes time to build muscle. It takes about a month to really build muscle. If you give it enough time off, after about a month of training a certain muscle and getting enough rest time, it takes about a month for it to fully grow. That's just statistics. That's just facts. It's not going to grow in 2 weeks unless you're on steroids. It's not gonna, as a natural, you need rest. You need rest. So I tried to explain that to him. You are an advocate of not taking deloads, but you're getting testosterone in you weekly. You don't have to take deloads. You're getting your hormones from a shot, but you're getting them. Naturals need time to replenish all those hormones and stuff. So you need to rest. Also, with compound lifting, like I explained to him, I do compound lifts every other week. This is my compound lifting week. So with compound movements, I try to go as heavy as possible with a comfortable weight, because you can overload a compound lift easier than you can your lateral movements and cable machines. So, and that's because you're using more muscle, more stabilizers, all that come to play. So you want to overload on the compound lifts. However, you don't want to do compound movements every session, every time you go into the gym, because you will develop a muscle imbalance or you will burn yourself out faster. So I do compound lifts every other week. Next week, when I go back to the gym, because I'm training at home this week, when I go back to the gym, it's going to be machine work again for another week. Then I come back home and I train here for that following week in this compound lifts. Now, when I do compound lifts, I always work out 3 days a week on compounds only. I take 4 days off. I do 4 days off. When I'm in the gym, it may be 4 days, but since I increase my volume, it's typically the same. But if I decide that, you know what, I want to come back to the gym for an extra training day, I can, because with the machines, I'm going to really kill the muscles that I'm targeting. Dumbbell work and machine work a lot easier than when I do compound movements. Compounds, I can do a little bit more volume with weight, but still it's going to tax the nervous system a lot more than just doing free weights on machines and stuff like that, if that makes sense. So explaining that to him and telling him that sometimes less is best, pull back, stimulate the muscle you want to stimulate, not annihilate. I got that from Jeff Cavalier. And the kill set, just as many reps as possible. The kill set term came from Mike Rashid, because that is true. When you overload your body like that, shit happens. But you don't want to burn yourself out like that every fucking session. Sam Slick can get away with the stuff that he's doing because there's a good chance he's probably enhanced. But some of his training methods is not wrong. They're not incorrect. You really want to challenge yourself. Why is fucking big? You really want to challenge yourself, because when you challenge yourself, the body will adapt to it. If you never challenge yourself, if you never try to put it through a strenuous couple of weeks of activity when you train, it's not going to change. It's not. It's going to stay where it's at. So training harder than last time is an asinine way of saying you should go to failure every time. If you want to train harder than last time, do a extra rep the next session when you go back to target the same muscle group after a few days of rest in that muscle group, to see if you can get an extra rep or two. And then when you start hitting numbers that you know the weight is getting too light, then you increase the weight by 5 or 10 pounds depending on what exercise you're doing, right? That's how you do that. That's how you progressive overload. That is training harder than the last time. But going to failure all the time, or the majority of the time like you advocate, I don't think that's necessary, because you're just going to hit a wall when it comes to volume. And that's going to have a neurological effect. You guys ever be irritated a couple days after you train? You just mad at the world. You ain't sleeping. And something happen. The body's in it's not there. Some nights you laying down, you in the bed, AC on, but you still get hot because your body's trying to recover. You done fucked it up. That's what happens when you train intensively every time you go to the gym. Eventually, there's a trade-off there. You will adapt to it, but it comes at a fucking cost of your sanity and your body recovering. He was getting burnt out a lot. So he asked how I felt about it, and some of the things you say is a little bit, it's out there, Greg. It's out there. Let's talk about this Will Tennyson, Jeff Nippard shit too before I forget. And I got more to this very last video for the day, and everything else be for the live stream for tonight. And if something changes, I'll let you guys know. Actually, I got to do 2 more videos, but I'll do the other one here when I get back or when I'm in the car. Either way, I get it done. Will Tennyson and Jeff Nippard did a training exercise together. In the video, you claim that Jeff Nippard outed Will Tennyson. I don't think Will's on the sauce. No, I don't think Jeff's on the fucking sauce. I'm going to just come out and fucking say it. Guys been training for well over a decade. They know what the fuck they're doing. Jeff Nippard's more of a science base. Will Tennyson is more of a gym bro, but he puts science in his shit as well from time to time. When they brought up the questions, when Jeff asked, are you cutting, bulking or cutting? Are your hands so natural? And then Will Tennyson said, well, I'm taking turkey. And they started laughing. You do realize that they was low-key roasting testosterone. They wasn't promoting it. They was actually roasting. That's why they fucking laughed. As of late, your content hasn't been that bad as of late. I actually kind of been enjoyed a little bit of it. I was going to go in when you tried to steal some of John Bravo clout, but I decided to pull back because I watched John interview with Lee Priest, and he gave you a shout out. So I decided to pull back and not go in like I really wanted to, because honestly, when that news first broke, I didn't make a video about it yet, because by the time I heard about it, it was a few days late. So no need to try to jump on that gravy train. Kind of same with you. But when that news first broke, John put it out there after the shit went down with Lee Priest, because they're buddies. And then you reviewed the video and took pretty much word for word what John said about the Order 66, like word for word, like took his line word for word. Didn't even give the guy no props. But I digress. Most of your content for the last couple of days been pretty entertaining, pretty fucking good. But I still feel like you're asking for Jeff Nippard and for Will Tennyson to acknowledge you. And those guys, they're not going to do that. Those guys are pillars in the fitness industry. When the last time you done gained some subs, Greg? You've been stuck at 2,060,000 subs for a while. For a fucking while. I think you had 2,060,000, something like that. For a while. Will Tennyson and Jeff Nippard, they're gaining subs constantly. They're not going to acknowledge you. You're trying to get clout off them because you want them to shout you out. You even tried to show how to inject your TRT. That's just how desperate you're getting now for big views. For a channel that got 2 million subs, you should be networking somewhere between 180,000 plus views per video. And some of your videos don't even do 30 to 40,000. And that's because of what you have done to your channel. People are trying to help you. People not trying to hurt you, but Greg's going to be Greg, and Greg's going to do what Greg wants to do. And then you have that right. That's your channel. But trying to create beef with Will Tennyson and Jeff Nippard, those guys are friends. Why would Jeff want to out Will if Will wasn't the sauce? And why would Will openly admit? Don't no one have to tell you anything about what there are. It's up to you to be in your feelings if you want to. They don't have to tell you shit. If they're not sponsored by no one, and they're lifting weights and doing their own fucking thing, they ain't gotta tell you shit. And if they were sponsored by someone, they ain't gotta tell you shit. That's you want to know if they're natty or not. So that video right there was just that whole critique. It was a real good video. I watched the original one on Will's channel about the exercise. It's a lot to learn. And some of their training techniques, Greg, it's a lot better advice than what the fuck you give. I can say that shit. So I would rather me listen to those guys' training advice than your training advice, because you still have a hurt lower back. I wonder why. And hurt shoulders and arms. I don't wonder why. When you're currently doing fucking goddamn guillotine presses out the motherfucking time 225 on a Smith machine, I have some sore fucking shoulders and shit too, motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah. When you currently bench wide like this here, because you want to not move the ball that far when you powerlifting, I have some fucked up shoulders too. The wider you go, the more your shoulders have to externally turn when you go wide. If you come in, they come down. You protect them better. You want to go wide, bitch, like this, and you train like this for as long? Yes, you're gonna have a fucking shoulder issue. That's just common knowledge. That's what you've done to yourself. And as far as your lower back goes, hey, high hole silver, motherfucker. I bet it'll hurt when you're trying to fuck. Train that shit. Strengthen those muscles in the lower back so you won't have no hurting problems. That's how you do that. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. I gotta drop 2 more here. Hope you guys enjoy. And Greg, don't be mad. Just spitting facts. Spitting facts. Hope you guys enjoy. I am out, guys. Peace.